Hello, my name is Regan, and I am a recovering girl boss. Was that cringe? That feels like it was cringe. Regardless, I girl bossed way too close to the sun and got very, very burnt because of it. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Organized Chaos. My name is Regan and I am so very, very happy that you are here. This is your safe place. We talk about everything that has to do with being a woman, especially a woman in tech, in corporate. And I know that I, like many of you, grew up in an era of girl bossing that was effectively defined by girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight. And I'll get into all of that in a minute, but we grew up in an era that said we can do anything that men can, except we're going to forget the fact that men are inherently given different attributes and are starting at a different place than women are. So we're going to make it 10 times harder on ourselves and are going to perpetuate a culture of assimilation instead of equity. And oh yeah, by the way, I forgot, I'm never really going to tell you that I bleed once a month and my insides just totally feel like they're falling out, but I can do anything that you can do because I can have a family and a career and a life and it's social and work out and do everything all at the same time and have time to paint everything millennial pink. Like that was the kind of era that we grew up in. And it's no wonder so many of us are burnt out. Like over 50% of women in the corporate world, in the workspace who have a 9-to-5 feel like they're struggling with their mental health. Burnout rates are super high. Imposter syndrome rates are super high. This is an opportunity for us to start to rework the way that we deal with stress and the way that we view mental health and the way that we view the culture that we have created together. Now, it's not all our fault, right? Like I grew up totally idolizing every single girl boss I saw. I watched The Devil Wears Prada and thought to myself, damn, those girls, they know what's up. They have it down pat because I thought that stress equaled success. I thought it was cool to be successful. I thought it was an occupational hazard, that it was something that was just going to kind of come with the territory. I did not realize just how much havoc it could wreak on your body and your brain until my body and my brain went no more. And I've talked about my burnout in previous episodes. I talked about my healing journey, my view of success and how you can really build a brain that is going to help you focus towards success in a way that is sustainable for you and not based on what other people believe. But in this episode, I wanted to talk about what the girl boss culture did to this generation of women who grew up being told that it's not about your happiness and instead independence, which is a positive thing all around, right? But independence is what you should prioritize at the expense of your mental health, your physical health, your well-being, time spent with family. And I think we are all pushing back against this idea because we're just straight up, we're done with it. I can't do that anymore. I'm exhausted. But there was a time in my life where girl bossing was my highest priority. I thought that wearing a suit was going to mean I had made it. It was the pinnacle of success. I wanted to wear a suit every single day and high heels. Oh my God. When I was a kid, I had every single high heel picked out that I was going to buy myself as a reward for being such a successful CMO. That's what I had thought to myself. And I had said with my first paycheck, I was going to go and buy myself a pair of Louboutins. Did I make that much money when I got my first paycheck? No. Did I buy myself a pair of Louboutins? No, because by that point I was like, no one's wearing heels to work anymore. But it was these ideals that were just ingrained into us that totally changed our perspective of what we should be looking for and how we want to be building our lives. Because I'm not going to say should. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how you should build your life. The only thing I care about is your happiness. And girl bossing, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, girl bossing does not prioritize your happiness. I'll tell you a couple times really just one big time where I let girl bossing and my desire to be a girl boss take over my life. So in one of my first big tech jobs, I was like a coordinator, but still, one of my first big tech jobs, I got appendicitis. And I remember my appendix bursting. Now, it more of ripped instead of burst, but the pain was still there. If any of you have ever had appendicitis, you know just how painful something like that can be. And so what did I do? What did young little, I think I was 23, 24 at that point. What did young little Regan do? Well, she certainly didn't prioritize her health. She keeled over, took a couple deep breaths, and then in the back of her head, just a little voice in the back of her head went, ooh, but you're up for this promotion. You have a meeting with this one leader who's only in town today, so you want to stay at work. You want to stay at the office. You're fine. This is probably just period cramp, something like that. You're fine. I was not fine. I was not, but I stayed at the office because I thought that that was going to be the most important decision for me in my career. Was it? No. But did I stay? Absolutely. And then I got home and I drove to and from the office that day. Now I worked down in Sunnyvale. I mean, if you're from San Francisco, the Bay Area, you know that living in San Francisco and then working in Sunnyvale meant that you had to drive about an hour and a half. Did I drive myself? Hell yeah. So I drove myself the entire way back, called my doctor when I got back home and was like, I'm just feeling a little bit funky. And he said, please come in. He hovered his hand over my appendix for not even 1 second, about jumped out of my skin, and he went, you need to go to the hospital and get this removed. And because I had let it go all day, more than all day at this point, to be honest, I had set myself back. What was supposed to be just a simple outpatient procedure, again, if you've had that appendectomy, you know that it's not supposed to be a long procedure. I had to stay in the hospital for 5 days because of it. 5 days. That's like a mega illness that I had given myself. I had actually prolonged my recovery because I didn't just decide to take a break. And I look back and I feel bad for that Regan. I feel bad that she felt like she needed to prioritize work over her health, over everything else. But I see this happen time and time again in every area of a woman's life. And that is what I want us to prevent. I want us to prevent feeling like we are less than. I want us to prevent feeling like we can't protect ourselves out of fear that something's going to be taken away from us. Because was the promotion going to be taken away from me? I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think they would have held it against me that I had appendicitis. It was unnecessary pressure that I was putting on myself to be perfect. And I hurt myself in the process. But I took it a step further. I then went, I'm in the hospital for 5 days. I don't need to take that much time off work. I took a couple days off because I couldn't physically go into the office. And this was a time where we had to go into the office. But did I answer emails at 3 o'clock in the morning? You bet I did. I was answering emails. I was responding to pings. I was working. I was using my little brain. And I was saying to myself, what else am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what else you were going to do, Regan. You were going to watch every TV series that you ever wanted to watch. You were going to eat ice cream. You were going to drink smoothies. You were going to read books. You were going to chill. Like, no, a hospital's not a fun place to be. But I made it even worse by bringing my work laptop and deciding to work. Did I ever get a reward for that? No. Did they ever see that I had worked extra hard even though I was really sick? No. So I look back at that moment in time and I just sigh and I say, why? Why had I internalized this girl boss culture to the point where I was willing to put everything else before me? And if you're listening to this and still going, well, what exactly is girl boss culture? If you didn't grow up in the world of girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep, I'm so happy for you. Where what started as a way to define young, ambitious women who focus on their career turned into a way to shame women who didn't view their career as their number one priority, then I'm so happy for that because I don't want anyone to have grown up in a life like that. But unfortunately for me and the majority of the people that I'm around, that is our experience. That is our lived experience. And I like to consider girl bossing, which might make it easier to understand, hustle culture with lip gloss. So it's like toxic hustle culture that's kind of hidden. And I found this really interesting quote as I was doing research, and it was a Vanity Fair quote, and I want to read it to you. And it said, girl boss morphed from a term worthy of an eye roll, which is true, to something more nefarious. Shorthand for toxic white feminists. Gaslight every moment, gatekeep every day, girl boss beyond words. And that is true. I am speaking from the perspective of a cisgendered white heterosexual woman. And when I first came into the corporate world, I had read books like Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. I had listened to her say that, yes, the glass ceiling exists, but all you need to do is pull up a chair and you'll be able to break right on through it. Just go and act like a man, you'll break right on through it. The glass ceiling exists, but like not in the way that you thought. It's not as heavy as you thought. We can do this together. Ha ha ho ho, tech companies don't look at maternity leave as something that's necessary. Oh, so funny that I needed to go and tell this group of white men that were working at the company I was working at to have maternity spots created so that she could park her car and not walk a mile. Like, how is this the level that we are allowing ourselves to start at? Now that's changed, obviously, since Lean In has come out. There were a couple of good points in Lean In, I suppose, that you could have taken, but the world that we grew up in, what we were listening to, was that you could break through the glass ceiling if you just tried hard enough, which put the onus all back on us. It didn't accept the fact that we were perpetuating this culture of assimilation. It didn't accept the fact that we were ignoring the inequities that existed within the promotion structure of a company, within the hiring structure of a company. The way that companies hire today is entirely based, typically, on who looks like me, who sounds like me, who talks like me. So girl boss culture meant that we were going to try and look like men with the suits, sound like men with the words, and act like men with focusing on our careers as a number one priority. And to be honest, men didn't even need to do that all the time. We just assumed that that's exactly what we needed to do in order to get what we wanted. And what we didn't realize is that men are given different tools to break through that glass ceiling. They are given hammers when women are given feathers. Now, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, that the girl boss culture is not the way to success. Girl bossing is not the way that you are truly going to find satisfaction. It's the way that other people have told us that we need to find satisfaction. It's a way for us, honestly, to add this millennial pink flair into everything that we do so that men can say, oh, they're going to be okay with just one seat in the leadership. They're going to be okay with just one person being on the board who's a woman or a person of color. We can pick. Girl bossing doesn't truly look to create equality. It looks to create more minions that work for the corporate world. And I sound so negative when I say this. I don't hate the corporate world. I actually think that if you have a 9-to-5 job and you are like kicking ass in it, or even if you're just like, yeah, this lets me do what I do, awesome. That's amazing. I did not do that when I worked in a corporate job. I let myself burn out. I let myself focus on my career as my number one priority. I was checking email every single day at the dinner table. Like, that is not what I want us to be doing. Now, if you've decided for yourself intentionally that this is the life that you want to build, great, go and do your thing. I want you to do exactly that. It's the intentionality that I'm after here. And I think I say this in every single episode. It's not about you not working. It's not about you quitting your job. I don't want you to quit your job. I want you to be intentional with it and recognize exactly what you can do and not let other people put goals and aspirations in front of you that you feel like you need to follow, because every single rule on this silly little planet that we're on this floating little rock that we're on is made up. So you can do exactly what you want to do. You just need to be intentional about it. But the girl bossing culture pushed so many women to the brink of burnout because we started to shame other people. We started to shame other people for not focusing on their career as a way to be successful. We started to shame other women who weren't waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and work out and then get a blowout and then put their makeup on and wear a suit all nice and pressed before work. Like, women who could do that, who could have it all, who could do everything, were considered these icons, right? Oh, she has 4 kids and she keeps the house clean and she cooks and she's ready to go and she works out and she's skinny and she's hot and she's got it going on and she's a leader. Amazing. But no one recognized the inequality, the inequities within that. No one recognized that she didn't need to be doing all of that. She absolutely did not. These were success metrics that were being placed upon her by society, and we were just playing the game with her. I love that this girl bossing movement is moving towards something that's a little bit softer, a little bit slower. I see so many women online talking about how they want to prioritize their own health, mental and otherwise, over their careers, or at least in line with their careers. Burning out from girl bossing has totally changed my perception on what success truly is. Success for me is no longer working the long hours. Success for me lies in your output. Success for me lies in seeing how excited and how joyful you are in doing exactly what you want to do. Whether that's hanging out with friends, making videos online, being silly, being loud, being quiet, reading a book, getting obsessed with ACOTAR, going and getting a promotion. Like, I don't care what you go and do. I just want you to be happy when you go and do it. Idea that girl bossing culture is slowly leaving. It makes me so happy. It brings so much joy into my heart because I am not an entrepreneur. A CEO. I am not a girl boss. I am me, and being me should be enough for you to take me seriously. The big question is girl bossing dead? Because we've all started to see the error in our ways. Because we're all realizing, no, we don't have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, and that is okay. Or that my career can be important, but there are certain systemic biases that I can't tackle on my own. I need help. Not all women are competition. This idea that only one woman can be put into a position of power and that's just enough, and she is now going to look down on every other woman and see her as competition because there's only one seat available, like, that is old news. And I love that about us. I'm so happy to hear that. And that we only have one life to live. And we'll be damned if we're going to spend our entire life trying to assimilate to a hyper-capitalist culture that's not going to reward us in return. My one concern is that I have seen this swap from a career woman to the health conscious woman. And I want us to be careful about that because I'm super health conscious. Like, absolutely. I will wear every bio-tracking tool that exists. I'm currently measuring my blood glucose levels. I have my Oura ring on. Like, I have natural cycles to track my cycle. I take my temperature every day. There are ways that I am tracking my body. I'm making sure my stress levels are remaining lower. I take supplements. I work with a functional nutritionist. I work out. But I'm never, ever going to sit here and tell you or shame you for not doing the same exact thing because we are all on our own journeys. And the fear that I have is that I've seen people start to do that. I've seen people take the judgment and the shame associated with girl boss culture and apply it to the health conscious culture. Oh, you're gonna go and eat fries from McDonald's? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go and do that. Yeah, because I fucking love French fries. Why are we constantly trying to put other people down for not being perfect? You don't need to go and be perfect with everything you try and do. It defeats the purpose of trying. Not everyone is gonna be good at everything. Not everyone's gonna want to prioritize everything at the same exact time, and that is okay. That's what makes us different, and that's what makes it beautiful. And that is why the girl boss culture hurt me so deep in my heart, is it tried to make us all the same exact thing with the same exact wants and desires. This health conscious girl culture, you don't need to be that girl. You don't need to be ice rolling your face every single morning, waking up at 5 o'clock for a run, getting sun immediately, doing everything you can to lower your cortisol levels. Like, pick and choose the couple of things that you want to do that make you happy, and then to hell with everyone else. No one is perfect. I can guarantee you, even those people that you see online where you're like, wow, she has a perfect life. Like, she's not perfect. She's editing that. Life is curated when you're looking at it online. Life is curated even when you're telling your friends stories. You do not need to be perfect. You are perfect exactly as you are, no matter how you show up. And that is the biggest lesson that I've taken as a recovering girl boss. I don't need to be something that I'm not. And it's a hard lesson to learn. It's a scary lesson to learn, because if I don't need to be what you expect of me, then what am I? If I don't need to be more than what you expect of me, then what do I truly want? And this is the moment for you to get to ask yourself that question. What do you want? Where do you want to be, and where do you want to go? Because the only way that I've been able to become a recovering girl boss is by unlearning this hustle culture, is by redefining what success truly means to me, is by recognizing that everything is fake and nothing is real, and we're living on this rock with created rules that I didn't have a say in, but now I can have a say in how they impact my life. What does it mean for you to be successful? I want to walk through a couple of different ways that I have changed my life and the big lessons that I have learned from the girl boss era that just took over my existence. What does it mean for you to be successful? Is it a paycheck? Is it the job title? Is it the big house? Or is it being able to work out? Is it time? Is it freedom? I want you to dig really deep into whatever answer comes up immediately. And I want you to think about whether or not that is an answer that you are given because you truly believe in it. And if that's the case, great. Or if it's an answer that has been given to you by previous generations that you have now internalized and turned into your own. Because if it's a question of internalizing and turning it into your own, then you have a great opportunity here to take a step back and think to yourself, how can I change this? Redefining success means that you might be able to sit there and catch yourself when you are starting to prioritize work over your body and your mind, like I did when I had appendicitis. And there are so many more examples of where I did that time and time again. What I was doing though with each decision not to prioritize myself was teaching myself, was telling me that I am not as important, that I am not a priority, that I don't really care what happens to you because you are a means to an end for everyone else. And what kind of existence is that? What kind of life is that? You are allowed to do exactly what you do. You are allowed to be successful in any way that you view meaningful to you in your life. Because the 70-hour work weeks, the constant stress state, the 4,000 cups of coffee, the using work to ignore everything happening in your personal life that remotely stresses you out, like that is not sustainable. There's going to come a moment in time where you might recognize, a lot is happening in my brain and my body. It might be like me, where you were just so burnt out that everything was on fire, or it might be to a lesser degree. Regardless, there are things that you can do today to stop yourself from reaching to that level of burnout. Because you might be one email away, just one passive-aggressive email away from burning out or from losing your absolute shit. And if you're at that point, let's take a look at why. Why are you responding to those emails so late at night? Why are you having Sunday scaries? Is it because of the pressure that you're putting on yourself? What What can you do to regain some of that control? And what can you do to let go of some of that control if you don't have it? These conversations are the exact kind of conversations that I have every single day in my one-on-ones. Last week, I announced that I'm officially training to become a life and a confidence coach and mentor, and I am so excited to open up my calendar to all of you. I have free introductory sessions with me. I'm calling them coffee chats for the moment. I was calling them big sister chats last week, but if you have any new names for me, please let me know. I would absolutely love to hear them because I'm still workshopping them. But the idea is we are talking about how can you build success into your own life in small ways. We're not gonna, sit here and I'm not gonna tell you to go and meditate 10 minutes a day every single day because like a lot of that, if I'm being honest, isn't gonna work. Like your breathing techniques, yes, it's super helpful, but that's not gonna really help you unlearn these systemic beliefs that have been integrated into us for so many generations. We need to have these conversations. We need to be open about it. And we need to be like, no, this is fucking hard. I don't know if I can do this. Unlearning what success is and is not to you is going to be a great first step. The second step is recognizing that everything is fake and nothing is real. Our brains love to feel safe. And I totally understand that. Our brains, when there is not an opportunity for our brain to feel safe, if we're looking at a situation and we're like, ooh, like me going and thinking that I needed to go and continue to be sick at work in order to go and get that promotion, my brain said, I want the promotion. What's the best way I can go and get the promotion? Not be imperfect, right? I need to be perfect. And so I'm not going to be sick because if I'm sick, I'm imperfect and they're going to take the promotion away from me. That was my brain trying to protect me. Your brain's always doing the best that it can to try and protect you. And that's okay. We love a brain that's trying to protect us, but there are occasions where we need to put that brain aside and be like, you don't need to be here anymore. It is okay for me to be imperfect right now because I'm going to test this theory that I am enough. But that's really hard if you've never gone about and done that before. But this idea of everything is fake and nothing is real is that nobody told me, right? If you are sick, then you're imperfect, then you're not getting this promotion. It was just something I assumed, but that was likely a fake assumption. There are other ways that I could have gone about it, probably by just messaging the manager, hey, I have appendicitis. Can we meet on Zoom or GBC or whatever else we were talking on later next week? Like, I'm still really interested in this. Please don't forget about me. I'll be back when I'm back. That would have been a great step. That would have been an awesome step. She was probably busy that day too. So really thinking about why am I assuming that this is a set in stone rule and making it harder on myself and not allowing myself to really prioritize what is important to me, which should first and foremost be yourself. One of the last things that I am going to go through with you all is a quick little list of the 5 different things that I am going to stop doing as a recovering girl boss so that you can take it away in a nice, neat little package and I can go through what we talked about this session. Number 1, I am prioritizing work over self-care. Number 2, I am no longer seeing women as competition. Number 3, I'm no longer checking email at dinner. 4, to hell with wearing makeup every single day. The only reason I have makeup on right now is because I'm filming for all of you. Finally, number 5, I am no longer glamorizing the grind. Stop glamorizing the grind and start glamorizing self-care, taking care of yourself, making sure that you have enough sleep, water, rest, stimulation, making sure that you are doing the things that you want to do, taking the workout classes, spending time with family and friends, and building career in where it makes sense for you. You are meant to be a fully well-rounded person. You are allowed to be a wholly well-rounded person. Don't let anyone stop you from that. If there is one thing that you take from this video, it's this. You are amazing exactly the way that you are. If you prefer to spend your nights curled up on a couch watching a good movie or out at a bar with your friends being social, it doesn't matter. You are allowed to do what you want. If you want to go and work out late in the evening, early in the morning, great. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, awesome. But I want you to make that decision for yourself. Don't let anyone tell you how you're supposed to live. Your homework for this week, which we always end on like an action item or homework, are 2 different things. The first is I want you to send me a comment, like write me a comment in the comment sections and tell me if you have experienced girl boss culture yourself, where you are in the girl boss scale of like, I don't know, like 0 to girl boss. I don't know what the scale should look like, but like tell me where you are on this scale. Tell me about your experiences. I want us all to know that we're not alone. I want to create a community of women who are so excited about what the future has to hold for them because they're going to be so intentional about the way that they're living their life. I know you can do it. I know you can. We're going to hold each other's hands along the way. And the second thing I want you to do is go and find one thing that you can do this week every single day for 5 minutes that brings you joy because you deserve that joy in your life. Whatever you do, do it intentionally, do it with love, and do it because you want to, not because anyone else told you to. Your biggest superpower is you and your personality, and I will continue to say it over and over again until you believe it and me too. That brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you so very much for being here. Please stay tuned, subscribe, comment, save, share, do whatever you got to do so that we can get the message out there. People can start to manage their mental health at work, because this conversation is so incredibly important, and I am so grateful for you all to be here and have it with me. I will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.